second order. Roll call.
Carla here. Karen here.
Jerry here.
Kathy.
John here.
May I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Amended agenda?
Pardon?
Amended agenda?
Amended
I'll
agenda.
make a motion to approve the amended agenda.
I'll second it.
Carla.
Jerry, aye.
Karen, aye.
Kathy, yes. John.
Get a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda. I'll second it.
Carla, aye. Karen, aye.
Jerry, aye.
Kathy, yes.
Mayor Pro Tem appointment. I changed from Karen to Jerry. We don't need a motion on that or anything?
It's your appointment.
Okay. All right. GASB 54 fund balance classification for fiscal year 19.
So we need to read the motion like we did last year then?
Well, you need to fill in the fiscal year 18.
It's 140, 15,000. And 62,778. I'll make a motion in accordance with GASB 54 rules before the end of the fiscal year. So it's
By
classifications.
By assigning
By assigning funds during the budget the fiscal year's funds for street reserves for 140,000, police car replacement at 15,000, and park reserves at 62,778 and 10 cents, and transfer to the PCC account for a large capital expenditure that they'll need in the future, 40,000.
I'll second.
Carla, aye. Karen, aye.
Jerry, aye.
Kathy, aye. John.
Okay, budgetary transfer resolution. Resolution 2019-44. Resolution authorizing budgetary transfer for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2019. Get a motion?
I'll make a motion for the budgetary transfer resolution 2019-44 with the transfer money.
I'll second.
Carla, aye. Karen, aye.
Jerry, aye.
Kathy, aye. John.
Okay. Third reading and adoption of ordinance 2019-05 amending water, sewer, and garbage rates for fiscal year 20.
I'll make a motion to approve the third reading and adoption of the 2019-05 amended water, sewer rate, and garbage rates for fiscal year 20.
I'll second it. Carla, aye. Karen, aye.
Jerry, aye.
Kathy, aye. John.
And can we get a motion to adopt the ordinance?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2019-05.
I'll second.
Carla, aye. Karen, aye.
Jerry, aye.
Kathy, aye.
John.
Police Department vehicle discussion.
I included as much background information as I could in the board docs information. It's something we just wanted to present to the council as an option. That vehicle has at least another 12 months on the road. Its schedule, the normal schedule would require its replacement next year, so at the earliest, a year from now. I spoke with ICAP and they encouraged us to submit the claim, so I would like the council's direction on getting that damage repaired.
Why are we hearing about this now? And when did this occur?
Yeah, this is problematic. So when it occurred, which would have been
all last year. I have a date on it, I kind of forget what time it was, but it was, the reason it didn't get fixed. Yeah, it was a year ago. The reason it didn't get fixed was it happened, we took the process like we normally would, like I got drug tested, all the whole 9 yards. We're gonna bring it somewhere to get a couple quotes to send it into insurance, get it fixed, and then we decided not to fix it. And that's why it didn't get fixed.
What actually happened?
I was in the Fairway parking lot and I happened to be talking to Woody and pulled forward and ended up clipping a pole. So that's what happened.
Well, I think, you know, it should have been taken care of obviously after it happened, but it's only gonna cost us $500 to take care of it, so just get it fixed. And that's including the decals and everything, so it'll be done and complete. So I think Willis is the best one of the two.
No, D&D was
We won't
$100
decide.
cheaper.
No,
Pardon?
not tonight.
We won't decide that, Cat will decide that.
Oh, okay. So we're just approving to get it fixed.
We need a motion.
To authorize the repair.
I'll make a motion to authorize the repair of the police unit.
I'll second.
Carly.
Karen, I.
Jerry, aye.
Kathy, aye.
John?
Okay, police chief hiring process discussion.
The application process closed about a week and a half ago on the 14th. All council members and the mayor have now had a chance to review the applications. I think there is somewhat of a consensus on a group of semi-finalists. And I think in terms of the process, I would tentatively like to schedule what we would call semi-finalist round of in-person interviews the week after the 4th of July, that Friday and Saturday. Is that, I know I heard from some of you on the date, if you could make that work. I know it's not the times necessarily want to be spending with me, but.
We just send it out and have them confirm what works for them for times and everything, or just?
Yeah, I mean, if I can send out that Friday evening, night, and that Saturday first part of the day. Carla, does that work for you?
Yeah, I can make whatever work.
Okay.
I have to.
Yeah, we're looking forward to moving forward, so,
Yeah, I got your email. I approve of it.
okay. Karen, are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, that weekend's all right. I didn't know whether it was that weekend or the weekend after you were.
Yeah,
Because the weekend after I was busy.
June, not July, yeah.
Stared right at the June calendar, so those dates match up with that weekend in June,
The weekend after I was tied up and I didn't want that one,
Okay.
so. That's fine.
but, and I think, yeah, I mean, we obviously have, City of Peosta hasn't been through this process, so we're just we're just kind of do as we can. I've been compiling some interview information and questions, and we can talk more about that at the next council can get a good feel for the candidates. Yeah, there will be, Sheriff Kennedy helped us identify another outside, I believe from Jackson County, someone from Coconut maybe, that will help. Because he has identified too many conflicts of interest in existing relationships he has with some of the candidates. So.
And he's gonna help us with the list of questions too, right?
Yeah, he's gonna, help us.
You said he did have somebody to help us?
Yes, he did. He called me yesterday, and that person was going to be, I want to say he said Jackson County, was going to be calling me. He said he'd give him our number, so.
Okay.
Well, he's also going to give us some links to some executive education
Yes.
or whatever candidate we choose to help that person, I guess, become
There.
a chief. He's got a lot of valuable information. Helped us out.
Yeah, and he advised that he is 100% available to the full council for questions and stuff throughout this process. He mentioned that they have a good relationship with all the departments in the county, and they look forward to that continuing. So he's happy to field calls or emails from you guys if you have any questions about some of the technical items of the resumes. Can be a little confusing. I found it's hard to know. There are things that sound really important that I had a hard time sorting through what was what. But so he was a big help in some of those aspects. So if everyone's comfortable with that, I'll move forward with communicating with the semifinalists and also those that were not selected to go on the rest of this week and hopefully get a tentative itinerary for that weekend.
Works.
Okay. Anything else on that, Whitney? Anybody got any questions for Whitney? Okay. Fire Station Park amended 6/24 at 1:46 p.m.
So
Which one was the one that you were waiting for the last meeting?
the last three are the last three designs that we got from the gentleman that Jerry, Karen, and myself met with down at the park last.
Option 3 basically is the one.
Option
3.
Yeah.
Option 3, 4, and 5 are the ones they. I don't think 5 is big enough. But I don't think 3 or.
3 is the biggest, isn't it, of the two?
4.
3 is bigger than 4 in terms of the, they have like a fall radius.
I'm actually finding option 1.
What number are you looking at? You're looking at the numbers, not the options. Is that what you're looking at?
Well, option 1.
Huh.
Option 1. Is that
Option 3, 4, 5. Okay. I'm looking on that. Okay. I don't know. Is it
this one?
Yeah.
Has anybody talked to the Peosta Days group?
Last we talked to Peosta Days, they just wanted our design in front of them. So at this point, I think
So whatever we choose, they're good with?
well, I mean, they didn't say that, but they wanted to see it first, but that was the impression I got, so. I mean, I guess if you want to get their feedback for picking, you could do that too, but I think at this point.
I mean, if they're willing to put the money towards it, I think we should at least give them the courtesy of a, hey, what do you like?
Right.
But if you get the feeling that they'll bless whatever we decide, that's fine too.
That's absolutely the feeling I get, but, and I think it's sort of same thing, you know, they have a little bit more of an informal structure, so they sort of like, oh, like, yeah, you know.
Is this part of option 3?
No.
Or what is
It's
this?
number 4.
I know it's number 4, but it says option 2.
Well, that's because it was option 2 on there, because he presented 3 options himself, so he had his numbered 1, 2, 3, and I renumbered them because we already had options 1 and 2, so.
So what she's asking is she's
Wait.
looking at the big numbers instead of the fine print?
Yes, the big white
The
numbers.
big
are what
white
she's
numbers
looking at.
instead of the fine
I'm
print.
sorry, yeah, the fine print is from his material.
So the difference between 3 and 4 is the spacing in between the two. You see that on number 3, there's a lot more stuff going up in the middle. There's like extra stairs and everything. And on 4, it's just a connected platform that goes between the 2 big platforms.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not the end of the world, but number 3 is the one I believe is in Asbury's new park where they got the splash pad. So,
That's this one.
and yeah, it's got the little spot on the end that you can tickle feet. So it's kind of a mix.
Which one you talking about?
3.
3.
3. It's got right in the middle. It's got the little one coming down in the middle.
You're not talking this one?
Oh no, option 3.
We got 2 options. 3.
Oh, we do?
Yeah. We got
Crosses right there.
this option 3.
Oh, yeah, no, not the green one.
1, option 2, option 3.
That option 3.
This option 3.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's the most expensive, but.
Right. Anybody else got any thoughts?
Or, I mean, if you want to select 2, and then I can send them both to Peosta Police Committee, we can do that also.
That's on the back side.
That's what I said.
I like option 1.
The very top one.
Yep, very top.
What's the ages on this one?
The ages on, I believe, so if it has monkey bars, it's a 5 to 12.
Okay.
Anything with monkey bars is 5 to 12.
I think they might all be 5 to 12 or
Yeah.
It's just that when we got down to the miracle ones where they're more colorful, those have a little spot in the middle for real young kids, but
Yeah, and 2 different reps mentioned that it's difficult sometimes with the 2 to 12 sets just they can't go up past a certain height and they can't have monkey bars. And when they have separate sets, you know, they said it's a nice feature, but realistically, as soon as the kids can walk, the little ones are trying to put a big set anyway. So, I mean, they offered some options, but
That's what I heard was the little one and then the bigger one. And of course, they are not the little one.
No, I suppose not. Too easy to catch them.
Yeah.
Option 1, is that total installation then? Are they gonna do the total installation?
I think I left that option in there.
yeah, installation
We
12,000.
could, I mean, we can install it if we want to, so that's also something we can think about that's probably very feasible.
Do we have the manpower to do that?
I think we can round up. I don't know, I mean, it's probably will have to involve some begging and pleading, but yeah, but yeah, for $12,000, I suppose. Talk to Coach Penner and
Well, we could ask
football players.
the board, keep that beautiful board too, they probably help.
Is that something that, I've never installed one, is this something that's
This looks,
easy, or is it like my backyard one that said it's gonna take 16 hours, it took me 25?
Jerry's done one before.
well, this is the one I have experience with is over here, and it's a quarter, 16th of the size of this one, right? So it's only got,
Take you guys.
yeah, a good day and a half. That's with loaders and everything and equipment. So I don't know. To me, it's $12,000, but at least you know it's getting installed right. You know what I mean?
Is the,
That's what I think.
okay, that's fine. Is the rubber mulch needed, or can you use the real mulch? If we're not gonna save a couple bucks.
I think if you're doing it, you should do the rubber.
Yeah, I think
What do you think? Do you like the later option better, the taller?
Well, it's a lot more expensive. It'd be
Well,
almost
yeah, but
twice the
besides
price.
that, I mean,
I
the
don't know.
money's there if you're gonna do
I'm-
it, you know, it's probably.
They're pretty similar, to tell you the truth. So it's kind of personal preference. And color scheme and all that stuff is also something you guys we can pick out.
Between that one and, just, you know, this one goes up higher. I don't necessarily think it has any more stuff to it, it's just
Which one you like?
more climbing.
I like them all.
I'm talking about one of these, you know, they go up higher, but they just seem
Option
like
3
more-
versus 1.
I think-
more
The
climbing.
insurance guy hires.
I think that's both the same one, it's just different sides.
Right, but between that and the first option.
Oh, and number one, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Well, let's pick one.
Were you leaving that other stuff down there? The swing stuff?
So, no, I think no, it's coming out. I know with 3, 4, and 5, it has to come out.
So there'll be no swings down there?
What about one?
I don't know.
I think there should be swings.
I think one fits with the swing.
I would say go with one and then keep the swings in
Keep the swings.
Keep the swings, and the other thing that the Peosta board, or Peosta pumps, Peosta days, put in the biggie things.
Oh,
yeah.
the diggers on the end?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they'd have to come out either way. The swing sets will.
Not if with option one, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
So if we're gonna do option one, it's cheaper than option 3. I would say we just have them install it and do the rubber mulch.
Is there not room down there if you needed to move those swings, you could move them? But
I think once you get them out.
You could, and yeah. I don't know, I'm not sure if they're out of code compliance or not. I know that slides not legal, but it's, I mean, my kids
It's a lot of fun.
because you fly, go like 40 miles an hour off the bottom of it.
Yeah.
But
I just went
yeah,
out last week.
because the slide is connected to the swings.
And the
Right.
worship bump has some
Yeah,
issue.
yep.
I can't remember.
2 says that the slide stays, but 1 doesn't, so I'm assuming that's the same company. And they're saying on option 1, the slide and swing doesn't stay.
Yeah.
Does it?
No,
It doesn't
option 2
say.
says.
On
leave
option
existing
2, it
swing
says
set.
the slide and swing stays. And I think that's the same company. So that's probably why it's reduced so much.
I was just looking to see.
Is it because of the size of option 2?
Yeah,
It's just that,
Option 1's bigger, yep.
So there was not gonna be swings down
No.
that's a problem.
I mean, they have swings now, the newer swings have like, it's a big U, it's like a big yellow U, and then it's, I mean, the new swings aren't the old like 80
there.
frame.
Could we see what they could come up with option 1 with swings?
One with swings, new swings.
We have that swings.
So these guys, pretty much the sky's the limit, right? They just pull out of books, and they have all different vendors and everything. It's seriously what they do, to tell you the truth. So, Burke is actually just one style, right? And then you have this other one down here in the bottom. It just so happens that we pulled it through 3 different companies. So, and ABC Creative is the top one, the one you guys like. And they're actually the sister company of the one that we have down here that's from Wisconsin only now. Yeah, so whether or not it's the same, I don't know if it's the same equipment, but they forwarded me over to them, so.
The number 1 that we like?
Yeah, Grimes is where we're at, or he's out of.
That's,
I don't see anything. I mean, that's something we can ask him, I guess, for swings, if you guys absolutely want swings. But the option 1 would be clearing out basically everything down there, and then this would be your new play set with the diggers. So. You know, first one was 94,000, 95,000. Karen, remember that? Is that what it was?
Which first one?
The very first design that we
One he
had?
showed us?
No, the one, I think you,
No, that was 75.
oh, 75?
But that was taking the old one out and adding, and putting everything in.
Yeah.
That was doing everything, and I see somebody must talk to him, we got a discount on top of that. Well, it's still 75, yeah.
So,
The first one,
I made 2 option 3s, I just realized.
yeah.
Sorry.
3.1 and 3.2.
I assumed we weren't talking about that one at all.
I'm sorry, I'm losing my.
No, no.
You know, for the 75,000 though, they were gonna take the old one out.
So that brings up another thing.
But I don't know if somebody talked to him afterwards, or,
Who? Was this Burke is who you used last time?
no, it was Cunningham or something. It was, they represent the company that made it, that made the original one.
No, I didn't talk to them, so if that 74 number included deconstruction, then that's probably still in there, so if we took that out, that number would go down.
Yeah, because it was around 75 with deconstruction
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
They were gonna do it.
I didn't touch, I just left it.
It would've
So
been
that's
a-
probably in that design number.
It would have been a no touch for any of us, you know, to, but, and it was also, I gave them very limited parameters to use, so. I don't care what we get as long as it's safe and durable. I don't.
Did they have a time frame on when they could do this?
What?
Did they have a time frame on any of them have it?
Yeah, by
Time.
fall. By
By
fall.
fall?
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
So,
I guess it's better than next year.
but if we made a decision, so.
You know, I'm looking at this and I just noticed that some of them are totally plastic and some of them have rubber coating. Am I right there? Like the last option has rubber coating where the first option is more just plastic? Is that right?
I think all the platforms have rubber coating on them. I don't have the book with me.
No. Do you have it?
Yeah.
I'll give it to Jerry, you might know.
So,
Oh, the creative.
I think the blank plan for the design like number one with swings and rubber mulch and installation, and I'll email it to you guys as soon as I get it. Is that would be in them?
Well, there's really nothing wrong with the swings we've got though, right?
They're
No,
just,
but I don't know if they necessarily fit with this setup, or if this setup would fit with the swings.
And I can check on
And
that.
that's the $1 million question.
that and will that swing set even work if you take the slide off of it?
There's no
The slide isn't
swing
attached
set.
to the swing set.
It's not on the side of the swing set?
No, they're
It's
not
a freestanding
attached.
slide.
I think the
No,
side's
it's
attached.
freestanding.
Oh, it's
Uh-huh.
freestanding.
If they were attached, they'd have climbed across it by now.
Uh-huh.
This is what the new swing sets are trying to look like. It's used. But
Them are gonna be pricey.
And I'm not sure what the conditioner is, it'd be more or less if you think they're close to needing to be replaced while everything's scooped out,
Okay,
something's
sure.
down to being old, now's the time.
Exactly, put the rubber mat.
Right, I mean, like, if it's
Instead of the-
you're gonna need to be replaced in 2 years, then now's probably the time. But I don't know that they could last for 100 years, I'm not sure.
And they got dented putting in.
or do we clear it out, put the new set in, and then plan for swing sets later or something?
What?
You said you read it.
No, they got dented, the swing they're putting in the
Good idea.
sand.
Oh, that's
I just hate to
The height
leave
of
something
the
that's
swing.
old down there and dilapidated and have to replace it.
Right.
Just to, well, keep this from getting big enough. But, should we get prices from all three, see how they come back? Or no, just the one?
I mean, if you guys aren't attached to a specific company, I prefer to work with the one.
Make it
The one I'm
easier.
more familiar with, the rest, but I mean, because we don't necessarily have we don't really have an existing relationship with somebody we've used repeatedly, do we?
No.
And I
No.
can get, we can get more quotes, but it's just more time.
What did the experts say about number one? You have 5 of them.
Oh, you don't, well, I mean,
They wanted
they're
number
kids,
3.
the bigger the better. for
Yeah.
them. They're definitely not,
They don't want to get rid of the slide, though, do they?
yeah, they're not gonna, they won't be very happy about the slide being
I
gone.
think that's a Peosta staple. That's a monument. A steel slide in the firehouse park. Isn't that a Peosta monument?
So if we had to narrow it down tonight, I'd be okay with option 1, seeing what else we can get in there then.
Right.
We can pick out the colors and all that stuff, so it doesn't have to be, or it can be that, I don't really care.
What does Keep Iowa Beautiful and the Peosta Days, what do all they?
We can ask them Thursday.
Okay.
Keep Iowa Beautiful's meeting Thursday, and I was gonna bring an option up too with them. Maybe taking the old one and seeing if we can patch some of the panels and put it together when we quit Kelly Oaks
That'd be nice.
versus just getting rid of it, so.
Yeah.
Which one? Take this.
Yeah, and moving it, you know, that all bolts together. So there's some parts that have been kicked out, so maybe move one
I
piece
thought the whole
together.
purpose of us replacing this one because it's about ready to fall apart.
No, it's not ready to fall apart, it's just falling apart.
It is, I mean, it's,
It has,
it's
The
busted
rubber
in some
coating is
spots.
peeling off and the slides are cracked.
Right, so why would we want to move that to ready to park?
Because there's still good parts to it, you know what I mean? You could take and make a smaller swing set, replace that out of it, versus throwing it away.
Cindy knows somebody who would buy it.
Buy that? Yeah. Well, that's fine. Trading value is better than
Huh.
6 to 1. It doesn't matter. It'd be easier. So.
Are we good on that?
Yes, perform or research.
Any others under administration? If not, we'll move on to wastewater treatment solvent engineering agreement, number 1.
Last time I was here, we went over the option of moving the site for the new treatment plant to the one adjacent to it, and with that, we had some cost breakdowns of what it would cost to stay at that site, the existing site, and deal with the stormwater issues that we found in the flooding of that site, versus moving it to the adjacent piece of property. And with that was the cost to redo the engineering on the new site. So this amendment is to the existing agreement that we had to do the preliminary engineering over again to get us back on track. So we had, I believe, on that document we brought in as an estimate of 140, and it came in at 132. So it's a little less than what we had estimated.
Is it back on track?
It will be, but not exactly the dates that we were looking at. We're trying to get back as close as we can on track. We're going to be a couple months behind. What that'll do is the bidding time when we want to put it out for bid. Instead of it being in maybe November or December, it's going to end up being probably in February. Go ahead.
What's going on with the road? Is that gonna change now?
The road will stay the same. The only thing we might look at doing is not make the turn to the west. That was gonna go to the site. You don't really need that anymore, so we're showing.
So that should lower the cost, or?
To the road for Horsefield's contract, it will probably lower it a little bit. There's a little bit of dirt and crushed stone that will be eliminated from that project. Yeah.
By moving the timeline a couple months, is that gonna hurt any?
No, the interesting thing about this particular project, that there's an awareness already that it's out there, even though it's a number of months before it's even gonna be on the street. I think you're gonna see there's probably a number of contractors that are going to hold a spot for this project to bid on it, to give it a really good shot because of the size of it, and the local contractors are really gonna want it. So I don't believe it's gonna affect the.
Is there that much change that we have to wait until February to bid it, or?
Well, it's to get the things done we need to get done. We're behind now. We're gonna try to catch up as much as we can, but we're still gonna be a couple months off of what the original schedule was.
And with the grant, we're required to submit all the plans once they're done, and they have 30 days to review them, so we can't bid until they tell us we can bid.
Okay. And this change doesn't hurt the grant at all, right?
No, you checked into it?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It's a grant aimed at disaster prevention, so they said they would be concerned if we didn't move the site after what we discovered, so. That being said, they're not willing to relax any of their required guidelines.
So this just outlines as an amendment to redo the preliminary work needed on that new site. Because it isn't as simple as just flopping it over to the other site. There's a lot more to it than that.
Okay, motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the IIW amended quote for engineering.
Second.
Caroline,
Karen, I.
Jerry, I.
Kathy, aye.
John,
And they have completed the soil borings out there, so we're doing that some monitoring the DNR is requiring us to do. The site looks good from what we can see from the soil standpoint. I wanted to mention, if it's okay, that the contract with Horsfield to build that road out to the north, I believe it's the end of August is when they have, it was a date, and not so many days, it was an end date of August 30th, I think. So the weather obviously
I just thought it was supposed to start before, was it supposed to start?
Well, they would have loved to have it done by now.
Right.
But to open up and try to build a road when it's raining like this, you really get into a situation where you make it harder to do it because it's so wet. So they're wanting to wait. And I just saw an email here when I was, before the meeting, sitting here reading my emails from the day. We did get one from Horsfield that said that they want us to mark out at Bodine's that new entrance and stuff so they can get the new entrance repainted and stuff, get it marked out. So when they're getting ready to start, all that's done and Bodine's isn't gonna experience any issues with traffic and stuff. So they're thinking about it, and then they see the sun come out for a day or two, and I think they get excited, but it's just been in the spring where everybody's experiencing slow movement on projects. So. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay. Discussion of rate structure.
As promised, we are continuing this discussion of how this project is going to be supported and how we want to get to where we need to be with rates. So I've put together an ordinance which would institute a 3-part incremental rate increase. You can see those numbers in front of you as it relates to. We kind of have 3 sort of classes of consumers. We're somewhat bound by the cost of the project. You know, that really tells us our end dollar amount, which, 20-year loan with interest minus the grant. It's, the numbers really are black and white, but so based on this ordinance, you would just need to make a decision on how comfortable you are with this. But really we need to be up to these rates by that July 1, 2021 date, because in June, the following June will be our first loan payment, June of 22. This is the first June following substantial completion. So the numbers and the way that increases are applied is something we can talk about. I also mentioned in my narrative the way we want to roll this out. I think I put the draft. I did not. I have a draft press release done that I will add to this after the meeting. that both IW is looking at it as well as ECIA, so we would prepare that to get that into Erica's hands before we hold the first reading of this ordinance, just provide a bunch of background information on what's prompted the project, why it essentially could not be avoided at one point or another, and just, provide some information on the options the council reviewed, and, that Northland Securities was retained to do a rate study. And it also lists some of the area rates, so it's, that initial blow can be a little bit hedged by understanding that this is what, Cascade and Epworth and Dyersville have all gone through when they went through a similar process. So I also included the comparison so you see where we fall after the increase.
Does it say on there what our rates are right now?
So if you pull up the sewer, on the ordinance it does not. If you pull up the sewer rate comparison, it shows the first where Peosta is currently highlighted in yellow, and then it shows Peosta with the increase. And it included property tax levies also, so you can kind of see how everything.
Is there gonna be a flyer mailed out to everybody, or how are we gonna do this rollout, you think?
So, no, per state code, the ordinance has to be posted, so that would be posted. It would run in the TH. We would publish the article on our
Facebook and
on
website.
our Facebook and website is probably where it will get the most
Okay.
play. So it's kind of, you guys have to determine what's best. You can obviously wait, and then in January, you could not do those things, and then as soon as everybody gets their bill. So we will mail out individual letters to the business community. The press release is really direct. Like in the press release, we list the rates, but I don't list the separate classes of commercial and industrial rates. It's really focused on residential. And we would send letters to the businesses because we know this specifically will impact their budgets, and we definitely want to get that information into their hands as quickly as possible so they can adjust as they need to. And it will certainly affect some more than others. Some are heavy users and some are not, so.
Everybody's bill is basically gonna double in 1 year.
Yeah, that's
Sewer.
18 months, right? 18
It's just the
months.
sewer though, right?
Just the sewer.
Correct.
The water's gonna go up.
Yeah, so this shows a 3,000 gallon user. Typically now your total bill is about $58, and then your total bill will go to about $77. Your sewer portion your sewer rate's gonna double, but your water rate's not gonna double, your garbage isn't gonna double. So your total utility bill won't double, but your sewer line will.
As long as we can explain that, maybe show a graphic of what it's gonna be, just anything we can to kind of
Yeah, graphics are probably a good idea.
pictures.
Average, take my use that as an example.
Yeah, and that's what we use 3,000 gallon, Bethany's used a little bit more than that, but I had a child that came back covered head to toe in mud last night as if he was mud wrestling in the rain. So we use more like 4,000 or 5,000, but 3,000 gallons is your typical user, which is what these rates are based on.
And with the industrial park, based on feedback, if they need to have a meeting to kind of see what we can do to help them
Right.
go through everything, we could set something up.
Yeah, that's certainly something that we also talked about just internally that we might put together a FAQ document to put on the website and online. Sometimes I think those play a little better than press releases. You can kind of contain all the information, but people either don't read it all or it
Skim
doesn't
it.
really resonate. So we might try to kind of boil it down to just some bullet points. Why does the city have to do this? We would, I do want to keep working on those things, so I would suggest holding the first reading of this anytime before the last meeting in July, I think would be, unless you're really excited to get going on it, but we would like to have all the information prepared and ready so that everything goes out that week, so there's no, I don't want to say no surprises, but so that everybody gets their surprise all at once.
Do you have a public hearing before the rates are approved?
No, we're not required to.
Because I
If
was
you want to
gonna,
have public information.
because I was gonna say too, if you need to sit in on that, or Eldon and I, or whatever, however you want it, we'd be more than happy to, if there are some questions that come up, that are technical that you maybe don't want to answer, we can try to help.
Are you guys gonna do another rendering and everything like that then? Like you
I
showed?
think he's mentioned something about doing another fly-through.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't see why not, yeah.
I don't want it to add to the cost. If it, I mean, if it's included, then that'd be
I would
great.
think that the meeting after this all goes out is probably the meeting you want to be at to help us.
Yeah, and if you could get that, and we'll have that plan, pictures, or whatever we have, you know, that would help out quite a bit.
The biggest thing Whitney said she was gonna do is comparables, looking at Dyersville and Emmetsworth and Farley, because, I don't know if I said this at one of the meetings with Whitney, but when I was first on the city council in Cuba City, we did huge rate increases, because they hadn't done it for years, a dozen or more years. I carried around a spreadsheet the clerk made for me with all the communities in the area, and it helped because people, you'd be surprised. I mean, it was the funniest thing is that after church, the language people used when they came out of church to express how frustrated they were with me in the council. But I pull up that spreadsheet and just say, you know, here's where we are. If you want, we have a really nice treatment plan you just spent money on. It's state of the art. You can move to the next town. Your rates are higher, and they're still going to have to do a treatment plan upgrade. So we were in line, and I think what Whitney had said to us is roughly what the rate increases were and such. I know it's doubled, but where you're at now is not very high compared to other communities. So it's, I work in some small communities where there's a treat, just their wastewater is $80 to $90. St. Donatus.
Say that again?
St. Donatus is, they just did an upgrade on their lagoons, which took about 5 years because they were so frustrated because they didn't want to do anything. And each year they waited and didn't do anything, it cost more because they put it off. But their rates are 90, close to $90, if not $90 a month just for sewer. So, not very many. There's not very many people there, and they keep dying, unfortunately, you know, they don't replenish. So the weight of the burden goes onto the ones that are left. And, yeah, about 100, 120. Maybe at the moment. But that's
Couple businesses, that's about it, that's down there.
But that's the balance you got to try to find is, you know, that. Look at what you're doing in Peosta. You got a $3 million grant. I don't know who. I've never known nobody that I've ever worked with over the years has ever gotten that much forgiven. So you're already starting at a lower rate because of that. Imagine if you didn't have the $3 million. You know, that's the way I look at it. It would have been a lot more painful for the city to do this project. Which, by the way, what Whitney is going to do a press release, we're going to put a paragraph in there explaining why you had to do it. It's not because you guys just felt like raising everybody's rates. You didn't have a choice, really.
Right.
So that might help too.
Yeah.
That you're just not flying off the handle doing something that's required.
Right, there's a whole paragraph that references our permit, which is currently expired, and our new permit will impose stricter limits and the nutrient reduction strategy. I mean, people who pay attention, it will resonate with them. They'll know this is Clean Water Act stuff. This was stuff that's been flowing our way for a long time. But
And the most important thing is as you look out around here, all of the building that's going on in construction, that 2021 deadline is a hard date when your hydraulic capacity of your existing facility is going to be at its capacity, if not sooner.
Permits this week, like Today's Tuesday, and 2 more permits walked in the door this week.
So it's not slowing down.
No.
So, you have to meet that. The last place you want to be is where you aren't in compliance, and the DNR comes in and says, okay, you're out of compliance, we're gonna put a schedule of compliance together for you, you have to abide by it. And then that's when you really get into having to be serious about doing something. You're beyond that. You've already taken the initiative to be ahead of that curve and that compliance potential issue that you might have after 2021.
And there really is some cost savings from that perspective, because there are items like our sludge removal that are, we have a lot more options in terms of, storing some of that for a little longer, getting rid of this and dewatering this that we would not have if we were under a DNR compliance schedule. I've been under a DNR compliance schedule before. It is not a soft structure. So there truly is a benefit. It's hard to relay that to the public effectively, but we'll do the best we can.
All right, anything else?
What's with the Dyersville rates?
The way they structure them.
Well, I don't know. I mean, their base rate is.
So what they do is they add their SRF, their loan payments. They don't add it to the rate, they put it as a separate line item. So you see it says SRF debt payment, which is what Farley does too. So it's really irrelevant, that bottom number, they're 3,000 gallons, these are still at $81, but they, look, our base is so low, but then you have this additional charge on your bill that's just for the loan. And we talked a little bit about that last time, it's kind of,
Right.
it's a sales move. You try to make it separate because people think, hey, once this is paid off, we'll go away. But
They also charge more per 1,000 too.
right.
They were under a moratorium when we got involved with the second phase of it. There were no more hookups to their sewer. The DNR cut them off because they were out of compliance. And they didn't do anything for a number of years, and they were behind, and they tried to catch up. And so you wouldn't want that to happen to you here.
No, yeah, they structure it differently. It's all about the way you want to tell the story, but it also creates problems later, right? When that debt is retired, 20 years means equipment has worn out, and likely DNR requirements will change again. So I don't feel like it's completely accurate. You can't say this charge will go away. You couldn't truthfully say that. But that's what Farley did too, with Dike, to pay for a water project. So it is nice in the fact that they can see it relate directly to your project, but it just sometimes gives a false impression that charge will go away sometime. That's just not something anybody can know.
Anything else?
But it eases the form, so. I mean, it's easier for them to say.
Correct, right. Yep. This loan, this amount of money, that's why you have that $21 on your bill.
Okay, moving on. Citizen comment?
Well, I'm gonna bring it up again at Cap Drive. We have a real issue with trucks and with people complaining about the road. And I know that we pay the most taxes in town up that way. I know you're gonna complain about it, but I think there's gotta be some solutions. One of them is I might recommend, and that's why I wanted Jim to stay, maybe he could give me the answer on that, but we have people who take sheets of concrete and they lift them with urethane or some kind of form of urethane. So they put a hole in the concrete and they pump it up with urethane or whatever they use, and they get it up to a level. And I don't think that would be a bad solution, whether we get a lot of use of it. I don't know how many years it'll last, but if you rode in a semi, for instance, we have a guy that does this all day long. He goes all up and down the streets, and all he does is shake, and shake. not only tough on equipment, but by the same token, there is a need. And I know you want to wait, but this has got to be done soon. It's just too rough.
Wasn't Dean looking at a couple different solutions?
Yeah, so, I know, Dean will wish he was here. So he and I have met, I think, at least 2 or 3 times on this, and he's looked at a lot of different options. He explored the grinding. He also tested another product out here that he wasn't happy with. That's more of a sealant, that's a temporary fix. The real issue I think we're running into is more of a time crunch. So just being that it's almost July, and it's a mile-long road, so it's gonna be, I mean, it's a big road. The soonest it can get done is next spring, which is consequently when we're gonna be starting the wastewater project. So, Dean's racking his mind trying to figure out how to manage the traffic and the project during that time with the congestion that's already on there, how we would close off lanes of that road to get it fixed. And you know, Dean, he likes to do things the right way, and I mean, that road drives him nuts. He wants nothing more than to tear it completely out. There's no base under it. He wants it tiled. He knows exactly what he wants to do to it, but that's trying to do that next summer at the same time as the plant's being built. That I don't know that he thinks he can do that, and Jim could probably advise more on the realities of that.
It would be a logistics issue, trying to do that work with the equipment coming and going in there, concrete trucks back and forth. It's gonna have to probably wait. I know AJ wants it done, and there might be some patching that could be done in some of the bad areas.
And there are a couple of really bad spots.
Yeah, I think you could probably get rid of some of those areas and just do some patches temporarily. But I think you would be disappointed if you tried to do something next year and then have all of this traffic on there and have more problems to try to get the thing built correctly and have one lane open at a time or something, and with the amount of traffic you have, that is a tough street because it's one way in and one way out.
Would it be possible to do from Peosta Street to Swiss Colony and run some of that traffic?
I don't think that's the biggest problem.
No,
I think the biggest problem is beyond that.
It's farther out.
Oh,
It's going
to
up the
Russell's.
From the bridge up to the top, that's the worst area.
Oh, okay.
That's why I think, you know, if we could do some drilling and maybe raise some of that. We don't know how long it'll last, but
Yeah, and we had to talk about that, so we can look at that.
You say you know people that have done that?
oh yeah.
They do it on sidewalks
Do it
and
on
everything.
sidewalks.
We did it on our
Driveways.
sidewalk out here.
It's mud jacking.
It was-
What they
yeah.
call it. They put it under pressure and they force a route.
but they do it on roads.
I don't know that, but they did our sidewalk, and then they weren't able to raise this sidewalk over here though, the one in front of the kids zone.
I found out is if it has a footing under it, it can't be raised, but I think that road is
have that on
just.
road, though.
But the problem is if it's too fractured,
Oh, then it won't.
you got a bunch of pieces you're trying to raise, and it might not work. You almost want to look at sections that are really bad, get them patched. You can pour some concrete in there and do these sections, 50-foot sections here and there, the worst ones, and do what's called an M4, which is a high release strength. You can place it in the morning, and the next day you can drive on it, and that would probably be the best alternative, because if it's that bad and broken up, there's not a lot you can do to hold it together, even if you're going to try to do some type of a jacking of it. But I think that would be the most practical thing to do. You could even put asphalt in there. You could have the similar materials. You have concrete and then have asphalt and concrete, because it's temporary. You put 8 inches of asphalt in there or 6 inches of asphalt that will hold up the truck traffic for a year.
What about experimenting with the cat?
You can, absolutely.
Except if there's sections that aren't fractured that just need raised, that would probably.
There's a lot of good concrete there, but, I mean, it's just steps. And the truckers are just going crazy.
It was never reinforced. There was no steel in there. If there was, it probably rusted, and so that's why you got the tipping of the.
They didn't do that.
So you have The-
I remember when they did this street.
Yeah, okay, so they put steel in it. So that's a problem because you do have a rocking motion over time at the sections that are saw cut. And so you end up with voids underneath there. And then the water gets in there in the spring and the freeze thaw, and you just have, that's what happens.
What about for experiments?
Well, you certainly could do that. If you find somebody that can come in and do that, have them find a section that would work. And you know, I don't know any of those companies that do roads.
McDermott and Epworth does it.
Who is it?
McDermott?
Oh, they do roads.
On roads? Or
On
I
sidewalks?
don't know about roads, but that's what they do. And there's people in
Cover
Sierra.
Masonry did ours.
Who?
Cover Masonry did
Cover?
ours. Yeah.
Weight
We
would
had it
be,
done at our house
Maybe
too,
you try.
but I don't know if they do.
weight would be the biggest thing.
It's a specialty, if anything, because
Weight of the trucks going over it with the loaded trailers. Because I know some of the stuff for driveways and sidewalks is like that foam, expandy foam stuff that they're using nowadays to
It
raise
don't
it.
last.
Oh, I would think a truck would just crush that after a
Well, I
little.
think the problem is, we get that going on
Oh,
all
yeah.
day.
Yep.
It's not gonna get any better.
Oh, it gets worse. I remember how
It gets worse.
Highway 52 got bad there, and actually Chavanel, so.
Yeah, Chavanel is bad too.
Yep.
so they, yeah, to set up an experiment and try a couple different options. Might be a good way to see what might work and be the most cost
Could
effective.
we try 4 spots or something like that? Try it.
Find out if you can find a contractor that does that kind of work.
Yeah, in the meantime, I think maybe, I don't know if you have time tonight, maybe when you're down with another sewer meeting, you could shoot past there and see if there's, I know Dean has some ideas of those sections too, but if we could identify, yeah, that just need and read to get us by us.
Well, it's pretty tough, but it's, and like you said, there was probably no metal put between those slabs. It's pretty bad. If we could do 3 or 4 steps, try it, and all they do is drill, it don't take much time. Drill through, pump it, and go to the other 2 or 3 places on it. Maybe we get something out of it. Anything is better when it is.
Or knock down the edges, like we did on the other road, just knock the edge off.
If we could grind it, might even be better, but
I don't remember if the city did that out in
Dean
front of-
said something about it's not thick enough to grind.
No, I'm saying just the edges that are here.
just yet.
Where there's
Knock
bubble.
that ball.
Not
Yeah,
also
make it so it's not a,
You're softening the bubble.
yeah, exactly.
You kind of
Did you see, Jim, over in Wisconsin, just off the bridge, what they did over there? It's kind of like a micro milling.
Yeah, what they did there years ago was called dull bar insertion, because they didn't do the steel in there, and they did put the dull bars in, and then they went over and they ground down to make it all smooth, because there was this differential movement of the slabs. 'Cause
But I mean, they just milled just a fine amount off.
just to smooth it out.
Yeah, if we could, I don't know if something like that'd be,
That's, you gotta look at it, you almost have to walk it, take a look at it, and evaluate whether or not it's really bad shape, or it's something that can be modified.
When we talked about that, Dean seemed to think that some of the cracks are like an inch.
And water got in there.
Yeah, so he thinks to mill it enough to make a difference it would compromise the integrity because it's only, is it 6 inches? I think it is.
I don't know what's the depth of that
I don't know,
concrete.
6
I
or
thought that's what.
6 inches would be way too thin for the amount of truck traffic anyway.
Yeah, but I thought that's what.
I thought that's what he said.
Yeah, I would doubt it.
That's what we did.
6 inches probably. You probably, you know, when you put this in now, it's gonna have to be about 8 inches, and when you get above 7 inches, if you watch interstate work, they have these baskets they put in with a rod in it. When you get above 7 inches, you gotta put these dull bar baskets in there.
yep,
So you have to do that, and it's really
yeah,
hold up.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
It adds cost to it, but it adds longevity to
Right.
the durability of the concrete stream. So.
That's been in there a long time already too, hasn't it?
20 years.
Oh, I bet more than that, I've been in town.
Cap Drive was, Cap Court was But if it's under design for the traffic, the repetitiveness of the trucks, ISOs, and that's an acronym for how many times back and forth, it wasn't designed appropriately, that it is going to break down before it's designed like this done.
Yes. Well, we get the approval, maybe get 4 pieces or something like that, huh? Even if it's grinding.
And we did have repairs to cap drive were budgeted for. I mean, we knew we were gonna have to do something to try to improve it, so that was in the work session, so that's already in there.
Anything else, AJ?
No?
No? Okay.
I have a couple.
Yep, go ahead, Kat.
What Dean did down here, did it correct anything as far as lane washes with all the rain after that?
Yes, he felt like, and he told me this specifically before he left today, because he knew he would be here, but he said he feels like everybody in the downstream and upstream should experience some benefit from that. There was a number of private tiles that were disconnected from their, wherever they were supposed to be connected to, so. I didn't look down the hole, I think he looked down the hole.
I was driving by and waiting home, and he literally just punctured the hole when I was driving by, and water was everywhere. And then when you showed up, it was not as, I mean, the water was definitely, the pressures are.
No, I had been there earlier. But then he found another tile after that was bubbling up, so he had to figure out where that come from. So he tied in 3 or 4 of them. And he says himself it's not the perfect fix, but it'll keep it underground. That's what we needed.
Right.
And he did think that it might cause some relief.
Right.
And I think you might be right. So.
Yeah, he wasn't real happy. A couple of them he had to tile up, and they had to get connected up, so we knew it was gonna take some pressure to get it to actually.
Yeah,
He was committed to his depths. That's what he said, there was no way to change that, so.
it would have led a long way up and down and over the road to find the big problem, so he did the best he could, I think. It worked out well.
Were there letters that were sent out about different things in town or something as far as junk?
Yes, and one of the recipients of the letter called earlier this week and was going to be removing his machinery that's for sale from his residential lots as soon as it was too wet on Monday to roll out, he said, so, but he wasn't, and we
made some phone calls.
yeah, everybody we reached out to, we made personal contact with him.
There's a place behind the Whiters that, I mean, I don't know what they have out there, but the Whiters have that.
Is that,
Well, there's a place behind
Yeah,
them
right.
where the guy has all
I've
kinds
been up there, talked to him a couple times, and every time he's cleaned up, but then he
So
just.
it's jumped in the yard.
Well, the one time I went up to talk to him, he had 4 cars up there that he was getting ready for the demolition derby. And they were just sitting there. I mean, he couldn't work on all 4 of them at the same time.
Right.
And he had a boat sitting up there behind his building, and there's numerous things that were up there that.
I think maybe the firewood pile is what she's looking at.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know what you can do about that. I don't
The
know.
what?
Firewood pile.
He's got firewood stacked. And someone said they thought it came from there. That was their.
I don't know, we're in the middle of town.
Yeah, he brings in cars, but he's been trying to
Some of
bring them
that
in, move them out
could be
pretty quickly, so.
Me too, I mean, working its way down there, that's all. Was anything sent to Marty Kennedy, do you know?
No,
Cause he's got all those abandoned buildings over there and junk laying all over, and he had a fire there and they put it out and he never cleaned any of that up. There's old feed there and hay bales, and so, I know there's skunks and possums and coon over there, cause I've eliminated it.
By the tracks?
Well, yeah, behind me.
sounds like a good venture for Eric.
There's a lot of tall grass in town too, as far as like AJ stuff down here.
They're supposed to maintain.
So who wants to address, you know, it's not everything. Wait, the high grass, AJ's high grass in his lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they're supposed to maintain those, I think, aren't they, Karen? Don't we have
Yeah,
something?
and they usually do. The problem is that they probably
The
can't
weather.
get at it.
Right, with the rain, yeah.
And what you said today, one of her neighbors, their grass is 9 inches high and they just can't get at it. When it rains every day, it's a new lawn, it's not real, you know.
Okay, so is it okay to put the Farm Bureau sign in pollinator patch? So then
So they're just not gonna cut?
so then they're just, have you guys not read that sign that's right next to Farm Bureau up there? And behind the building, it's a little white sign, says Farm Bureau pollinator patch. So that means, is it okay for them to have?
Oh, that was some wild grasses they planted in there.
Okay, that's okay to have them.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's,
Native grass.
yeah,
We'll
native
let my
grass.
neighbor figure that out and see what she said.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. That's
That's what I said, I gotta pay more attention. Driving through.
I know.
For so many reasons.
Did
I
you-
can understand
Did you
it.
read that driving by, or,
Yes, of course.
really? I've never.
I was focused on the road, that's what I never saw.
Well, I'm in the passenger seat. I
Oh.
don't get much drive time, so.
Anything else?
But yeah, I
Anything
got
else,
that.
Kathy?
No, that was
No.
it.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
No, second.
Carlisle.
Karen, I.
Jerry, aye.
Kathy.
Got it.